These are my objective here. I am going to mainly cover the how to approach to a patient with complaining of dysphagia, as well as what are the different investigation modalities that are done in the case of dysphagia. So first, if any patient comes with a complaint of dysphagia, first of all we have to take the complete reliable history of the patient, right? Then after we have to do the clinical examination. At the last we have to consider any investigation modalities that are help us to confirm the diagnosis. So in the while taking the history, we have to consider certain points that will help us to make a differential diagnosis, right? So first of all, we have to ask the patient about the site of dysphagia, right? So it will mainly help us to differentiate the what either is the oropharyngeal dysphagia or the esophageal dysphagia, right? For example, in the oropharyngeal dysphagia, there is many difficulty in the preparation of the bolus as well as the difficulty in the passing the bolus to the oral cavity, right? And it mainly associates the aspiration as well as nasopharyngeal regurgitation. And mainly patient manifests it as a coughing. That will be the hallmark for the oropharyngeal dysphagia. But in the case of the esophageal dysphagia, what happens is that the patient complain about the mainly the food is sticking to the lower throat or neck, right? And it will be epigastrium discomfort can be there, any retrostomal discomfort can be there. So from the by asking this, we can differentiate either the esophageal dysphagia or the oropharyngeal dysphagia. Then we have to ask the onset of the dysphagia, right? Either it can be sudden or the gradual. If it is sudden, here we should think about it either in foreign body can be there or impaction of food in the any pre-existing strictures can be there in the esophagus. Similarly, if it is a gradual onset and also patient is complaining about any severe weight loss, then we have to think towards any malignant strictures can be there in the esophagus as well as malignancy we should consider. Then after we should consider the any duration, progression also and intermittent type. Like if a dysphagia is intermittent type can be there, some patient complain about a spasmodic episode he is having, right? So then in that condition we should consider any motility disorder in the esophagus can be there, so that the dysphagia is an intermittent type. Then we should ask the type of the food that will be causing dysphagia. It will be very much important in the case of dysphagia because it will mainly help us to differentiate the mechanical cause of dysphagia from the any neuromuscular defect. Like for example, if the patient is complaining about the dysphagia with more towards the liquid than the solid, then in that condition we should think about any paralytic lesion or the motor disorder can be there, like especially eclasia can be there in the esophagus, right? Then if the patient is complaining the first is only dysphagia with the solid, but it gradually progresses and later also dysphagia occurring in the liquid, then in that condition we should consider some pathologies there that is gradually progressive in nature. So in that condition we should think any malignant strictures or malignancy can be there. And some patients also complain both solid and liquid at the same time. In that condition also we should consider the motility disorder. Example, eclasia can be there or any scleroderma can be there in that condition. After taking these different points here, we should also ask any other serious symptoms with the patient, right? Or some patients also complain of other symptoms apart from the dysphagia. That will be also very much important because that will mainly indicate our diagnosis or certain pathologies for that symptoms, right? For example, if the patient is complaining about any regurgitation here, right, or simply and also heartburn is there, then in that condition we should think about any gastroesophageal reflux disease can be there or hiatus hernia can be there. Similarly, if the patient is complaining about any aspiration into lungs or any evidence we get aspiration lungs here, then we should think about laryngeal paralysis can be there. Similarly, some patients complain hoarseness in the voice and that causes the dysphagia. Then in that condition we should consider the primary lesion can be there in the larynx here or laryngeal muscle disorder can be there. In this way, with the help of the history, we consider all the points that help us to make a differential diagnosis. Then after we go to the clinical examination. In the clinical examination is also very much important because it will mainly help us to differentiate or mainly help it because most of the pre-esophageal causes are already excluded if we do the complete detailed examination of the oral, like oral cavity or oropharynx or hypopharynx or larynx, right? Similarly, here the laryngoscope can be used here. Similarly, we also do the neck examination, chest examination, as well as cranial nerve examination and neurological examination. For example, if we do the neck examination, we should simply look for any lymph node enlargement or not, or any thyroid enlargement or not. Similarly, if there is a loss of laryngeal capitus present or not, or in the laryngeal prequite is also integrity should be checked for, right? Then after the complete history and clinical examination, of course we make a differential diagnosis for the condition that will be causing the dysphagia. Then after only we go for the investigation. In the investigation, first of all, I will explain all the investigations that are simply considered in the case of dysphagia. Then at the last, I will explain what investigations should be appropriate for the which patient, right? So in investigation, first of all, broad examination should be done. In the broad examination, mainly include the hemogram, thyroid function test, or liver function test can be done, or the renal function test, right? And also ESR and CRP. And is this all investigation has own significance? For example, if we do the hemogram, right, it will mainly help us to exclude any infectious cause as well as allergic condition. For example, eosinophilic esophagitis. If there is any condition, we can rule out here. Similarly, in the also hemogram shows the nutritional status of the patient. For example, it will be very much important here because as we know, Plummer-Vinson syndrome is one of the cause of the dysphagia here also, and we can also rule out here because Plummer-Vinson syndrome main pathology is iron deficiency anemia. So we directly get the picture from the hemogram, and it helps us to mainly manage as well as detection of the Plummer-Vinson syndrome. So it has its importance. Next one is the ESR and CRP. As we know, or any other inflammatory process as well as the malignancy, the ESR and CRP is increased, right? So if the patient report is having the increase of this ESR and CRP, we should think more towards any malignant condition or inflammatory condition that will be causing dysphagia. Then another is the thyroid function test. Like thyroid function, if the dysphagia is suspected to be caused by any goiter or thyroid malignancy, then this test should be done here. Similarly, the renal function test and liver function test here, it is mainly done if the patient nutrition is impaired and any metastasis is suspected, then we should do the thyroid liver function test as well as renal function test. Then after this, doing this basic investigation, we go for the radiological investigation. That will mainly include, first of all, we have to exclude the other conditions. So for that, we do the chest examination, chest X-ray of the patient here. That will help us to exclude any cardiovascular disease or the pulmonary disease as well as any mediastinal mass, right? As well as foreign body. Similarly, also we should do the neck exam, neck X-ray of the patient, that will lateral view. It will mainly help us to exclude any foreign body obstruction can be there, or cervical osteophyte, right? Or any some soft tissue mass can be there in the retropharyngeal space. So these all conditions are excluded here. Then after we another modality we consider the barium swallow. Right, and it is one of the very specific diagnostic evaluation in the case of the esophageal dysphagia because it will mainly help us to detect any mechanical cause of dysphagia. For example, benign strictures, malignant strictures, or hiatus hernia, or any pharyngeal pouch. That will be all be detected with the help of the barium swallow. But here we should consider that in the barium swallow we only detect the mechanical cause. So motility disorder is missed out here, right? So if the barium swallow is simply combined with the video fluoroscopy, that is also called modified barium swallow, also called or simply barium video fluoroscopy swallow study. So in that condition, it will be the gold standard for the evaluation of the swallowing mechanism. So it will help us to detect any mechanical motility disorder, especially eclampsia or diffuse esophageal spasm. So first here I will explain some conditions that will be causing the dysphagia and is finding the barium swallow. For example, here we can see the eclampsia cardia, right? Here we can see the esophagus is grossly dilated. Esophagus is grossly dilated here, and the classic tapering is that also the broad big appearance, right? Similarly, in the one hiatus hernia, we can see the gastroesophageal junction here. It will be like it will be above the gastroesophageal junction above the diaphragmatic hiatus, right? And hiatus will be also wide will be there, and some gastric fluid are also seen that will passing through the hiatus here, right? So in this way, we can differentiate this either hiatus hernia or the any eclampsia cardia. Then another condition can be there in the benign stricture. We can here appreciate that long segment strictures are there, right? And the long segment strictures and the proximal dilation and gradual tapering is there, also look like the rat tail appearance. Then another condition is the pharyngeal pouch. We can see here the pharyngeal pouch is there, that is simply projected from the posterior aspect of the pharyngeal esophageal junction. So if you get this condition, we can also rule out this pharyngeal pouch. Then after that, the malignant strictures can be there. The malignant strictures all know is short segment strictures. Short segment strictures are short. We can see a abrupt narrowing is there also, and some mucosal irregularity we can detect in the malignant strictures. So in this way, with the help of the barium swallow, various conditions can be we can detect it that will be called the dysphagia. Then our next investigation modality will be the esophagoscopy, right? It is also one of the very specific diagnostic tests here because it will help us to detect any mucosal as well as the structural abnormality, also inflammation of the esophagus. That is called esophagitis. And its advantage that with the help of the esophagoscopy, biopsy of the specimen can be also taken here, and also dilation of strictures can be done as well as foreign body extraction can be also done. So which will be one of the advantages of the barium swallow here, and also it will help us to exclude any malignancy. Mainly two types of rigid esophagoscopy as well as flexible esophagoscopy. So here we can get the condition. These are all the esophagoscopic findings here. So main esophagoscopy allows us to directly visualize the condition that will cause the dysphagia. For example, in that condition, esophageal rings can be there, esophageal waves are also there. Sometimes the also we can directly visualize. So that will be helping us to make our diagnosis. So next investigation modality is the esophageal manometry, right? So as we know, manometry is simply pressure measuring devices. So here also a small catheter is simply passed into the esophagus and the stomach, right? And it will measure the amplitude, timing, as well as the configuration of the esophageal contraction. Also measure the lower esophageal sphincter function. So it will detect any abnormal contractile pressure during the resting or swallowing mechanism in the esophagus. So it will be the gold standard for the any motility disorder, especially eclampsia or any esophageal spasm. So this is all about esophageal manometry. But here also I want to explain, say that if some patient has eclampsia, right, then how we get this finding? Suppose the patient has eclampsia, then in eclampsia what happens is the lower esophageal pressure will be elevated at around 35 mmHg, right? And also there is a relaxation of the lower esophageal sphincter will be the incomplete, as well as peristalsis will be absent. So this will be all we can get from the esophageal manometry, and it will be all analyzed in the computers. Then we can say that there is one catheter is passed here, and this will be connected to the computer here, and here we get all the pressure analyzed already. Then another investigation modality is the pH recording, also called 24-hour ambulatory pH monitoring here. Here what is done here? Your small probe is then passed to the nasal transnasally, and it will go into the distal esophagus, that should be the proximal 5 cm proximal to the lower esophageal sphincter, and it will mainly detect any acid reflux that will be in the esophagus, right? Or simply also measure the effectiveness of the esophagus to clear out that acid here after the acid is put into the esophagus, right? So it will be the gold standard for the patient if having the gastroesophageal reflux disease. So, but as I already explained, it is 24-hour ambulatory monitoring. So all reflux is not a pathological. So we have certain criteria. So if the pH is less than the 4 for more than 4% of time, it's more than 1 hour here, that will be called as a pathological reflux. And if we get this finding here, we should suspect towards the gastroesophageal reflux disease that will be causing the dysphagia to the patient. So I have explained all major investigations that are done in the case of dysphagia, but some other investigations are also done here that will help us to rule out the other conditions. For example, we can do the chest CT scan of the chest as well as MRI can be done here, that will help us to exclude any other structures that will simply compress in the esophagus. Similarly, we can also do the bronchoscopy can be done to rule out the bronchial carcinoma. Sometimes we have to do the cardiac catheterization to rule out the vascular disorder that will be causing the dysphagia. So these are all the investigations I have explained here are considered in the case of dysphagia. But all investigations not done in the one patient that will complain the dysphagia. We should be able to choose the appropriate investigation for the appropriate patient, right? So that will be mainly known by the complete clinical reliable history as well as clinical examination. For example, if a patient comes with a complaint of dysphagia, first our role is to differentiate either oropharyngeal dysphagia or the esophageal dysphagia. Then we have to classify the causes. Like in oropharyngeal dysphagia, mainly two possibilities can be there. Either any neurological condition can be there, or any anatomical condition can be there, right? Similarly, the esophageal disorder, there are two conditions can be there, that is motility disorder can be there, or any mechanical cause can be there. So suppose in the esophageal dysphagia we are suspecting we are suspecting the mechanical cause. Then we also here what appropriate choose them, that is the barium swallow, right? That will show the any structural deformity, and to confirm that we can do the esophagoscopy. But if the barium swallow suppose they are coming normal, right? Then we suspect that there is no any mechanical cause, there should be a motility disorder. So in that condition we should consider esophageal manometry, right? Similarly, the patient is complaining about what is any heartburn, right? In the heartburn, then we should consider the gastroesophageal reflux disease. Then in that condition we can do the 24-hour pH monitoring. In this way we choose the appropriate investigation for the appropriate patient that will be known by simply we do the complete reliable history of the patient as well as the clinical examination. So let's summarize here. I have explained how to approach the patient, what are the history that we should consider here, what are the points that we should be considered. Then a clinical examination, and also what are the result in the investigation. Then after we should do the barium swallow, esophageal manometry, and pH recording. Then other investigation to rule out all conditions. So I hope you have got the idea about what are the investigations that are done in the case of dysphagia. Thank you for your wonderful attention. Thank you.